Seven. Over here. Seven. Over here. Look here. Look here. Seven. Look here. Seven over here. Seven. Over here. Seven. Smile.
Oh, toys, those innocent little packages of joy that promise giggles, squeals, and a lifetime of memories, until they don't. Some toys, it turns out, took fun a little too far and decided that maiming kids was just a part of the experience. From water guns that could double as fire hoses to dolls that had dangerous design flaws, these weren't the harmless playthings that parents were promised. I'm Seven McAllister for 7 Entertainment. Let's take a look at 7 toys that were banned for being dangerous. Now, before we get into that, we appreciate your support, so if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and give a sweet little nudge to that notification bell. Number 1, Dots a terrible idea. Do you remember Aqua Dots? Of course you don't, because most parents were too busy yanking them out of their kids' mouths before it shipped to the ER. Marketed in 2007 as a fun, creative craft kit, Aqua Dots were basically thousands of tiny, candy-colored beads that fused together when sprayed with water. Sounds wholesome enough, right? Well, until you learn the beads had a secret little party trick. When swallowed, they metabolized into GHB, better known as the non-consensual interaction drug. Yes, a children's toy that doubled as a Schedule 1 narcotic. Instead of just giving your kids a way to make beaded butterflies, you were now unknowingly supplying them with enough chemical ammo to pass out like they'd just taken shots with frat boys at 2 a.m. Reports started rolling in of kids vomiting, losing consciousness, even slipping into comas after gobbling up a few too many. Pro tip, Spin Master, maybe don't stock toy aisles with covert roofies. Fallout was massive. 4.2 million kits were recalled. International headlines, lawsuits, and a very awkward corporate statement about how the wrong chemical was used in production, because nothing quite says trust us like admitting your toy factory mixed up craft glue with controlled substance. It was an arts and crafts meets Breaking Bad, and parents everywhere decided the only safe place for Aqua Dots was in the trash can. Number 2, Cabbage Patch Attack. I will never understand Cabbage Patch Kids. Full stop. Cabbage Patch Kids look like someone tried to sculpt a baby out of leftover bread dough and then gave up halfway through. They're the only dolls that manage to be both terrifyingly lumpy and weirdly smug, like a potato that thinks it's better than you. And what happens when you add the potential for childhood trauma to that recipe? Well, meet the Snacktime Kids line from Mattel, a variant of the Cabbage Patch Kid dolls released in late 1996, intending to simulate feeding. Kids could insert plastic snacks into the doll's mouth. Behind the mouth, a motorized chewing mechanism like these rollers would pull the items in and then eject them into a backpack. Initially, this gimmick sounded fun and novel, but there were some serious design oversights. The most problematic part being there was no off switch. Once something, either a snack or a finger or hair, was caught in the doll's mouth slot, it would trigger the mechanism. It would keep chewing until it swallowed whatever was inserted and ejected it to the backpack. Whether the object was edible or, a part of a human child. Shortly after becoming available, reports started piling up. Children's hair and fingers were getting caught in the doll's mouth. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission got involved. By December 1996, there were about 35 reported incidents of children having been traumatized by these little nightmare machines. In response, Mattel was forced to take action. They added warning labels to units still on shelves, detailing that long hair and fingers could be caught and explaining that removing the backpack would stop the mechanism. Eventually, in January of 97, Mattel and the CPSC initiated a voluntary recall refund program for all the Snacktime Kid dolls, which was about 500,000 units sold. Consumers were offered a $40 refund. Now, while no grave injuries were documented, thankfully, the doll remains a cautionary tale of how toy design failures and lack of safety features is a disaster in the making. Number 3, bracelet yourself. My Gen X viewers will definitely remember slap bracelets, the neon snake thing you proudly cracked onto your wrist like a tiny fashionable landmine. Invented in 1983 by Wisconsin teacher Stuart Anders, the original slap wrap was basically a cute cover around a steel spring. Think flattened tape measure, not infant-safe foam. They made the jump from novelty to pandemic-level playground accessory by the late 80s and exploded into full-on 90s fad status. Problem was, cheaper copycats started using thinner, flimsier metal and shoddier coverings. When the fabric frayed or the coating wore through, the exposed steel could slice, poke, or puncture like a tiny fashionable razor. Because nothing says fun quite like whipping a blade across your friend's wrists. The injury reports weren't just playground gossip. State and federal safety groups investigated. Manufacturers issued recalls when bands wore through their covers and revealed sharp edges that caused lacerations. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission had multiple recalls and warnings going back years. So yes, your slap bracelet was fun, but it was also a low-key liability dressed up in polyester. In short, slap bracelets were brilliant engineering repackaged as a toy until the economy version turned them into wounds on demand. Cute, clever, and a little bit criminally irresponsible. The perfect accessory for any trendy 10-year-old who also enjoys the thrill of visits to the emergency room. Number 4. Think of the younglings. Remember 1999 when Star Wars fever was so bad you probably considered selling a kidney to own a Darth Maul double-bladed lightsaber or a Qui-Gon Jinn glow stick of doom? Hasbro had your back, sort of. They slapped some plastic on a spring-loaded hunk of metal, threw in some batteries, and called it a toy. What they didn't tell you, those batteries were basically a tiny ticking thermonuclear device. Yeah, the springs inside the battery compartments had a rebellious streak. Dislodge one, and boom, batteries could overheat, rupture, or explode, giving your little Padawan a taste of the dark side. Hasbro eventually recalled 618,000 units. Their fix, a free repair kit, and a sticker that screamed, "Now with battery protector," because nothing says safety quite like a sticker. Moral of the story, apparently the Force can't protect you from shoddy engineering. So while kids were imagining epic duels against Sith Lords, some were just trying not to spontaneously combust in their bedrooms. Lightsaber was supposed to be a symbol of heroism and adventure. Turns out, it was more like a fiery slap in the face from the galaxy's worst QA team. Well, it was still better than the Jar Jar Binks lollipop that basically was like French kissing the galaxy's most hated Gungan. Number 5. Not so easy. It seems like every house growing up had an Easy Bake Oven. Not us, we were a Snoopy Snow Cone Machine family, but if you thought Easy Bake Ovens were just harmless fun, well, think again. These pint-sized kitchen nightmares were responsible for more than just burnt brownies. In 2007, Hasbro had to recall nearly 1 million units after reports of children getting their hands or fingers caught in the oven's opening, leading to entrapment and burn hazards. But the dangers didn't stop there. A particularly alarming incident involved a 5-year-old girl who suffered a partial finger amputation after her hand got stuck in the oven. Yikes. The design flaw? A front opening that was just the right size for curious little hands to explore, but not so great for safety. The result was a series of painful injuries and a tarnished reputation for a toy that was supposed to inspire kitchen creativity. The Easy Bake Oven promised tiny culinary adventures, but delivered tiny fingers in peril instead. It's a toy that taught kids that baking could be a contact sport. Some lessons are better left with a real oven and an adult on standby, providing supervision. Number 6. Dance of Danger. Sky Dancers. Introduced in 1994 by Galoob, who was later acquired by Hasbro, they were a line of flying dolls that promised to add a magical twist to playtime, and with names like Fuchsia Fantasy and Turquoise Twinkle, man, they like alliteration more than I do. Sorry. These toys featured princess-like figures with foam wings that, when launched via pull string, would spin and soar through the air. While the concept was enchanting, the execution proved to be hazardous. The dolls' rapid, unpredictable flight patterns led to numerous injuries. Reports indicated that Sky Dancers caused over 150 injuries, including eye injuries such as scratched corneas and temporary blindness, broken teeth, mild concussions, broken ribs, facial lacerations that required stitches. The hard plastic components in high-speed flight made them more akin to projectiles than playful toys. In response to their safety concerns, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission announced a recall of approximately 8.9 million Sky Dancers in June of 2000. Despite the recall, the damage to the toy's reputation was done, and Sky Dancers became a cautionary tale in toy safety. Today, Sky Dancers are remembered less for whimsical play and more for a cautionary tale and bad toy design. They promised magic, but only delivered chaos. Number 7. What are you crying for? Ooh, the Super Soaker CPS 2000, the water gun equivalent of an AK-47, turning backyard battles into scenes from Saving Private Ryan. Released in 1996 by Laramie, the Beast was the first to feature the Constant Pressure System, or CPS, a bladder-based mechanism that shot water with the force of a friggin' fire hose. With a 3.1-liter tank and a nozzle so powerful it could knock you back, the CPS 2000 was less about fun and more about tactical warfare. I shouldn't be laughing. Sorry, why was it so dangerous? Well, imagine being hit in the face from 20 feet away with a stream of water moving at 30 ounces a second. That's what some unsuspecting kids were experiencing, leading to injuries like bruising, blurred vision, even temporary blindness. One urban legend even claims that a child lost an eye after a close-range blast, although that remains unconfirmed. But yeah, despite its popularity, the CPS 2000 was discontinued in 1998, replaced by the less aggressive CPS 2500. The decision was likely influenced by safety concerns and the growing realization that a toy designed to soak you shouldn't seriously hurt you. Today, the CPS 2000 is a collector's item. It is eBay gold, sought out for its sheer power and its rarity. However, it's a stark reminder that just because something is fun doesn't mean it's safe. So if you happen upon one, remember it's a piece of toy history, but also a cautionary tale in plastic form. Well, there's our list, and I leave out any other toys that were banned. If so, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please do us a solid, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and tippity tap that notification bell. Till next time, I'm Seven McAllister for 7 Entertainment saying bye-bye.